This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Junior.
The Mexican Ray Phoenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the Busted Wide Open.
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 Boston Wide Open.
Busted Wide Open. Thank you.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome, everybody, to BWO Live, coming to you from across the Busted Wide Open universe of Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is episode number 353 of Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And forgive me if I look a bit glittery. I promise it's not a filter. It's just a little bit of sparkly stardust left over from seeing Hiroshi Tanahashi live on Saturday night. I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and welcome to Busted Wide Open. We have a big show for you today. We are going to be talking about Monday Night Raw, the go-home WWE show for SummerSlam coming up this Saturday. Throwing a little curveball at us there. Sunday, of course, being NXT TakeOver. The go-home show for that. We got other stuff to talk about today, too, because as I may have just hinted at, your boy was at the very first New Japan show back in the States since COVID hit. New Japan Resurgence happened this last weekend at the LA Coliseum, and we were there. Yes.
Did you like the torch?
Did I
Olympic
light
torch
the
that's on top
No,
of the LA Coliseum?
I did not personally light the torch.
Okay.
They have.
It was outside,
like
wasn't it? It wasn't like in the bowl. It was like out in front.
Correct.
In the parking lot or something.
It wasn't the parking lot. It was like the staging area before you go into the stadium.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of like a bit of a smaller event, but still a lot of people. But like when you first see it, you're like, oh, that's it. But then once everyone's in there, you go, oh no, okay, this is actually like a really cool venue. Yeah. And if you watched it on New Japan World, then you saw it. Like it looked really cool. They lit it really well. It was right under the torch and the big arches in the entranceway to the stadium. So it did look really cool, but it was odd having like being outdoors and having wrestling. It was really cool. And it was a very beautiful event. And I'm so glad I was there, and I cannot wait to talk about it later on in the show. Plus Triple Mania happened this last weekend as well, including the much anticipated defense of the AAA Mega Campeon title that Kenny Omega was currently holding going into this. He had to defend it against Andrade. Lots of news around that event we have to discuss later in the show. But of course, Nick, as with any big show, we cannot get into it without doing a little business first.
Yes, guys, linktree.com/BWO. You guys know where to find us at this point. Head over there. It's a one-stop shop with all the links to all of our social medias, our merch shop, where to sign up for Patreon, all that stuff, linktree.com/BWO. It's time, patrons, once again, for the BWO Pick'ems Championship, and we're doing it big again, just like we did for WrestleMania. Dubstep Rob has put it out there.
Oh.
It is on. We are doing another round of Grand Pick'ems Championships where we will be including both NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam in the Pick'ems. 2 nights, 3 big prizes to win. I guess plus another one if you count the booby prize. But anyway, big time. If you're not yet a patron and you'd like to play, or you can also, if you're a YouTube member, we'll also throw this one your way. You can sign up on YouTube at the join button right underneath the video, or patreon.com/BWO. All you got to be in is that $5 tier on either platform, and you'll get access to the forums to submit your picks for the BWO Grand Pick'ems Championship happening around SummerSlam and TakeOver this weekend. We've got Ian. You had a big weekend of wrestling. We got a big weekend coming up because Friday night we're going late again so that we can get Rampage in. We're going to have the Friday night BWO Live. We're going to have SummerSlam happening on Saturday night. We're going to have the SummerSlam recap show Saturday night afterwards, immediately afterwards. Then Sunday, we're going to have TakeOver 36. And then immediately after, we're going to have TakeOver 36 recap right here with BWO Live. And then 2 days later, we're right back with Raw again. We got a massive, massive weekend. Block the calendars. Make a big lasagna like what I'm going to do and eat on it all weekend. That's what we do on big pay. I have Esther make me a lasagna so she really doesn't have to make me anything else for the weekend. I just eat lasagna all weekend.
And that's helpful too, because then you don't poop for 5 days afterwards because you're just all blocked up.
Because there's about 10 pounds of cheese in that thing.
I got you.
Yeah, it works. You never have to get out of the chair. It's very handy. Linktree.com/BWO. Find the link to Patreon or YouTube. Sign up with that join button. All you got to be is a $5 tier. You too could be the next BWO Grand Pick'ems champion. Woo, there's a lot going on.
The Mega Campeon.
There's a lot going on.
The Mega Campeon BWO.
But to get there, we had to go home last night over on Monday Night Raw.
In probably one of the best timed moments in WWE history, Randy Orton came out to say why he RKO'd Matt Riddle last week. He said, I do things solo. I'm a 14-time champ, and I got those on my own. Evolution.
Right.
Okay. But he said, I don't need to explain my actions. I am who I am. You know who I am. I'm back. I'm the Apex Predator of Monday Night Raw. I got a match with Omos later, and yeah, he's big, and yeah, he's scary. He's also a jackass, and I'm going to show him what the 3 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment are. And, of course, they are R.K. Bro. It was perfectly timed. The production guys hit Riddle's music perfectly. Out comes Matt Riddle to be like, Randy, why don't you love me? I get why you RKO'd me last week. It's to teach me what a real RKO is supposed to be like, because I haven't been doing it right. And Randy was like, no, dude, just leave me the hell alone, you strange, weird stoner thing, you.
Yeah.
And Riddle just kept pestering him until AJ Styles and Omos came out and said, ha, 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 you should RKO him again and RKO yourself while you're at it, if that's even possible. Omos is totally going to kick your ass later. Ha, ha, ha. Meanwhile, while we're at it, why don't we have a match between AJ Styles and Riddle? And Riddle's like, totally cool because I'm invincible and Randy's in my corner. Well, unfortunately, Randy left. He just ditched him. He was like, yeah, okay, whatever, kid. Poof, he took off. Riddle got beat by AJ thanks to being distracted by Omos just looking at him.
Yeah.
And so he lost. And later on the show, we caught up with him, and he was backstage bummed. And, man, Riddle has been knocking it out of the park. But this whole, like, sad puppy thing he pulled backstage, Nick, was all-time great.
It's just him and his scooter. Going for a long walk down the poorly lit back hallway. Nobody knows.
I was hearing like the Incredible Hulk music, like the old show. Or
like the sad Rambo music at the end of Rambo 2 after he blows up Murdoch.
Right, exactly.
I just want my company to love me as much as we love it.
Yeah, so as Riddle's going back down there singing Hello Darkness, My Old Friend, he gets interviewed, and he just says, I'm not even mad at Randy. I'm just sad.
I'm just disappointed.
I'm just disappointed. And he said, yeah, right. And so he scoots off, and it was a very touching moment. And then later on, of course, we had the predicted match between Randy Orton and Omos, which went about as you'd expect, which was Omos just manhandling Randy Orton, but because you can't have Randy lose right now, and you can't have Omos lose right now, AJ Styles got caught cheating outside, tried to do a low, cheap shot on Randy outside. Refs calls for the DQ, so AJ and Omos say, screw it, we'll just beat him up, which they proceed to do before Riddle comes out to save Randy. Despite how sad he was, he still came out to save his bro.
Right in the fields.
Oh, right in the fields. Right in the fields. Came out. He took out AJ Styles. He pushed Omos away, and Omos decided that he was going to take the wounded AJ Styles and live to fight another day. And Randy turned to Riddle and said, dude, respect is earned, not given. What the hell? Like, I'll tell you when I respect you. But you know what? After all I did to you, after ditching you earlier, letting you get beat up, after everything, you still came out and you had my back. And you know what? You earned my respect, kid. All right, RK Bro is back together, and Riddle just gets big beaming face. Like, really, bro? Wow. The crowd goes wild. And Amos and AJ are still at the top of the ramp, and Riddle goes, well, if we're back together, then we're going to challenge AJ and Amos at SummerSlam for the Raw Tag Team titles. And there it is. Crowd erupted. Nick, you and I are sitting there going, I've seen this coming for months.
It was inevitable.
Hey, yeah. But hey, the way that we got there was fantastic.
Sure.
Like, honestly, it was, but I will admit it was just 101 booking. But Nick, do you think
booking.
that it's, I mean,
we'll do air
right.
quotes and say booking.
Sure. Do you think that the way that we got there, because correct me if I'm wrong, this is the best thing going on Raw.
Oh, well, sure, but I mean, what else are you going to do? Have a rerun? Well, I mean, we got to talk about the rest of the tag team division later, but what else are you going to do? There's only 2 other teams.
Well, that's not even what I'm saying. I'm just like, obviously, yes, this is an immense monument in a shallow pool.
Yeah.
But my point is what's making this work? We just agreed this is kind of WWE booking 101. Why is this the best thing on Raw?
Have they watered us down so much that we think this is the best thing going on Raw? Are things so diluted right now that this is the best thing that we an odd couple pairing challenging for the tag team championships is the best thing going on Raw?
Did this not connect with you? Are you not like enjoying this?
You know me and singles guys getting thrown together and being given championship opportunities at this point.
They just had weeks and weeks and weeks of explaining why they were together. Like, this isn't just being thrown together. This is, first of all, it's a great odd couple pairing. They have incredible chemistry, incredible comic timing. It's entertaining as hell. They spent weeks and weeks explaining why they're together as a team, including having a breakup angle and then like a will they, won't they, can they coexist thing. That's actually interesting because you genuinely wonder if they can.
But they've given me no reason, no indication that there's any way in hell that either one of those guys can do anything about Omos.
You don't have to. They can beat AJ. AJ's beatable. They've shown that he's beatable. Obviously, Riddle didn't do it tonight, or last night, but we know AJ's beatable. He's the weak link in that tag team, which is so strange to say that AJ Styles is the weak link in anything. But here we are, 2021. You strange ear, you. But my point here, Nick, is, and again, I'm asking you, like, is this not working for you? Is this as entertaining to you as it is to me? Because I'm sitting here looking at it saying this is the best thing. Now, again, shallow pool, it's the best thing on Raw. They could have more good things like this, but it's genuinely working for me. It was working for the San Antonio crowd. They were all about this. Are you not connecting with this somehow? Is this not working for you? But beyond the whole singles wrestlers as a tag team.
I do like the chemistry between Randy and Riddle. I do appreciate and love that. It does entertain me. It makes me chuckle and giggle seeing the antics between the two of them. The part that I really can't get my
Riddle dancing in the ring at the end and Orton going, him like trying to, Randy, come on, do it with me.
That's
Orton
a
goes,
good
like,
mid-card, good time.
I don't do that shit.
You know what? That's a good time on the mid-card. I
Agreed.
have no reason to believe that those two have proven themselves to be contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Okay, so you're getting nitpicky wrestling about
I'm getting a little more wrestling about it.
Okay.
They have, and this is just part of the bigger picture thing that we've been on our soapbox about for years now. They just dismantle the tag team division in WWE for no reason. And when they do dismantle it, they slap 2 people together, AJ and Omos, Randy and Riddle, Miz and Morrison. At least they had a history of being slapped together in the past. But that's kind of the tag team landscape right now. And I'm just like, okay, I just take my medicine, and it is what it is. I don't have to love it.
I think you're missing the forest for the trees here. And I'm no WWE apologist, but at the same time, like, when something's good, it's good. And this is good. I'll give them full credit. Like, this stuff's really entertaining. I genuinely think it's because of the quality.
And the Hardy Boys doing a TLC match is good.
Again, you're sitting here going like, well, I want my tag teams I want my tag teams to be a certain way, and this isn't the way I want my tag teams to be. I don't want as much entertainment in my sports entertainment. I just want sports. Where's the statistics, and where's the I want to see crazy shit. This is great character work stuff, man.
Between the two of them, I agree.
This is
even
everything.
AJ and Omos, I give them a nod.
Yeah.
Do I look at either of those two as tag team champions and contenders? Not really. I think that's the disconnect for me, because I'm like, I love the work they're doing, the acting and the performance they're giving, but I'm sitting here going, is this really the best we could do for tag team wrestling?
I'm not mad at it. We said the second that RK Bro started coming together, we said, oh, they're going to go face AJ Styles and Omos.
You have two of them, maybe the best singles wrestlers of all time, wrapped up in this. And
yes.
I'm trying to get my head around the fact, like, why are they not going for titles? Right?
They're going for their tag titles. What titles do you want them to go for? Bobby Lashley's busy with Goldberg, which we'll talk about in a second.
Okay.
Sheamus is busy with Priest, which I'm really happy about as well. That's feud is it's so-so, but it's at least I'm happy with the performers who are involved.
I'm happy with the performers. Don't hate me if I'm not happy that we can't do better than this in WWE for tag team wrestling. Like I pine for the days of New Day versus Usos from a few years ago when it was white hot fire for almost a full year between the two of them.
What do you want, dude? What do you want from them? This is as you said, two of the greatest performers. One who's on his way, and another one who's a really fascinating up and coming monster. Who's I frankly think is a blue chipper as far as monsters are concerned. I'm happy with everyone who's involved in this, and it's around the titles. And frankly, WWE did a good job of leading up and into this over the last few weeks, even including Randy being gone. They made that work. That was bizarre. I don't know if it was planned or not, but no one knows what happened to Randy, but they made that work even with the plot line, and it timed out perfectly to lead us right into SummerSlam. What do you want from them?
It's how I feel.
Okay.
I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change mine. And that is just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Tomato. I'm going to be honest. I'm also a little effing bitter about Raw last night. I mean, is that how you go home to SummerSlam? And maybe this conversation, you know what? Let's save this conversation till we get to the end of Raw. Because I need to climb up on Nick's podium a little bit when we get through Raw. I don't want to. Just the whole of the thing had me spicy.
I'm here to tell you it wasn't all bad. I'm going to be the bright ray of sunshine today. Except for the next segment, which we have to talk about right now, which is Goldberg and Bobby Lashley, which closed the show. This was our go home to SummerSlam from Raw. Not RK Bro reuniting and challenging AJ and Omos, which made the crowd far happier than this final segment, strangely enough. But they decided to close out with this, which I guess makes sense. It is your championship. It's the WWE Championship. So in that sense, that's appropriate. Go home with this. Goldberg's a bigger star, according to WWE. He came out to the ring to talk, which automatically is scary, concerning. Goldberg's going to cut a promo. Oh,
San Antonio ate it up, though.
They did. They do love them some Goldberg down there in San Antonio. Anything you want to say about Vince bringing in Goldberg and why would he do that? There you go. They still love them some Goldberg.
I bet they
out there
sold
in
a
WWE
truckload of Goldberg merch that night.
Probably. He had a very nice babyface promo talking about how his he wanted to not show his son who Goldberg was, but who Goldberg is. Of course, the kid was there as well. MVP came out with Bobby Lashley and started running his mouth. Lashley gets in the ring. Goldberg spears him and takes off with his kid, leaving Lashley pissed off in the ring.
That wasn't a spear. He kind of leaned into him. Yeah. Bobby sounded like he'd been hit by a freight train. Good for him.
Yeah.
But he kind of just stepped into him a little bit. Spear!
Well,
Goldberg speared him to hell. No, he didn't.
Yeah, well, he was... Dude, Goldberg was winded. He'd had to cut a long promo.
That's right. He was blown up from having the promo.
Yeah, he's blown up. Yeah. He's blown up from cutting the promo. He's got Ultimate Warrior
Did he
lungs.
get a concussion as well from giving a promo?
Well, Lashley does have very hard abs.
That was one of the worst looking spears I've ever seen in my life. And it's from Goldberg, which makes me cry. He's had one of the best looking spears in the history of wrestling for a long time. What was that shit?
Yep.
And and that's how you go home to SummerSlam. And I'm just like, oh.
Goldberg's protecting his son. Lashley's being Lashley and MVP are being dicks to his son. And okay. Lashley's saying, I'm going to end your career at SummerSlam. I genuinely do not know what to think about this feud. I don't know if I want Goldberg to win just because of what it would mean for the Goldberg fans if he lost. But I definitely want Lashley to win because it's Lashley. And he's a guy who is still right now. I know he's been around since the mid-2000s, but he is a guy who is having an amazing career resurgence right now. He's a fantastic week in, week out performer, a great monster champ. I don't feel they should have him lose to Goldberg at all. Except they might because they want to keep the Goldberg cash cow coming.
This will be his second match.
And that's one way to do it.
Of the year.
That's true.
So is that his 2 for the year?
Crown Royal. Crown Jewel's coming up late October. He could go out, drop it there.
Listen,
because you think about it, a lot of people in the U.S. wouldn't watch that show, so they drop it on a house show. They don't show Goldberg lose. It's possible. I'm just saying, like, at this point, I do not know what to think, what they're planning on doing with these two. Goldberg spearing Lashley to close the show, stand looking strong, does usually indicate that Goldberg's going to lose on Saturday. And I think that's what they should do. But should and will do in WWE, not always coincidence.
He did beat The Fiend, if you remember that.
He did in Saudi Arabia.
In a terrible, terrible fashion. Let me catch up real quick. Got a couple of call-outs over here. Kyle, resubscribe with a tier 1 for 13 months. Oh, my goodness. Ooh. 13 months. That means you get a little good chicken. Thank you very much, Kyle. He said, most I can say about Raw is that it happened. Nothing really happened of note other than an unproductive second match that we'll talk about in a little bit that was just unproductive and had no point. Yep, we'll get to all that. Yep. I'm trying to stay off my soapbox till we get to the end.
It's coming. It's the next thing we're talking about, Nick, is gonna make you go crazy.
Thank you, Kyle. And Marshall gifted a tier 1 sub to Broken Wheelchair. Welcome to the chat. I know you've been around for a while. Make sure you thank Marshall for your gifted sub. Thank you very much, Marshall. And he did. Thank you very much, guys. See, I love all of that. Let's keep going because I got so much I need to say. We got past the 2 big things, but there's so many other kind of big things that have happened that I am just this whole episode was like one big episode of I'm not sure if WrestleMania is Saturday or SummerSlam is Saturday. Like I'm confused because all of this stuff is happening all over again. All the same feuds are firing back up. The one thing we don't have is like Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre going again.
What are you talking about?
Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
I'm trying to hold it in.
Women's division. All right.
It's not working.
Drink of water or something there.
I'll go over here and smoke my vape for a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, be careful. That might amp you up more. It's, as we know, it's metal in your lungs. Meanwhile, over the women's division, Nikki Ash, almost a superhero, Nikki ASH, which I believe actually means almost a superhero, Nikki, almost a superhero, which seems a little bit redundant. But hey, whatever. It's their gimmick that they don't want to push and give any merch to, which is automatically a bad sign. She had a match with Rhea Ripley and lost in like 4 minutes, clean as a whistle. So once again, we pin our champion in the middle of the ring, going home to a big show. Except that Charlotte Flair was on commentary, running her mouth as she does. And for some reason, Nikki, instead of being mad that Rhea Ripley beat her, decided to go outside and just start whooping up on Charlotte for some reason. All right. Well, she tosses Charlotte in the ring, and Rhea Ripley kind of goes, all right, cool. Gives Charlotte a big old lariat, beats her up a bit, tosses her out of the ring. And then Nikki and Rhea, 2 people that just had a match that Rhea won, that Nikki should be perhaps upset about. Nope, they're fine. They're buddy-buddy. And Charlotte goes back and complains to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, saying, that was uncalled for. I demand retribution. And they said, no, that faction's broken up. Charlotte said, fine, well, I want a match. And they said, cool, get a tag team partner. You're going to have a tag team match against Nikki and Rhea, who just had a match. What? And Charlotte says, I don't work well with others. And they said, take it or leave it. So she says, okay, I'll go find a tag team partner. And so later we have an 8-minute tag match with Nikki and Rhea getting like 3 moves in each on Charlotte and Nia Jax, who did 90% of the work in this match and was out there shaking it around a little bit, doing some Rikishi, doing a little bit of a booty shaking and whatnot. Like, all right, Nia, finding some new ways to use yourself. That's good stuff. But ultimately, Nia goes for a big old Vader bomb. Charlotte tags herself in and pins Rhea Ripley. All right, so now Nikki's pinned Charlotte in the last couple of weeks. Charlotte's pinned Rhea. Rhea's pinned Nikki. I guess that means that all bets are off come SummerSlam, or at least that's their logic. I don't know. So Charlotte pissed off Nia. Charlotte pissed off everybody else. She gets the pin. Rhea's been pinned. Nikki's been pinned. They've all been pinned. Nick, unleash the Kraken. What do you have to say about all this?
I'm going to stay positive.
When did that happen?
This was completely useless. Sorry.
I knew you couldn't hold it in. I knew you couldn't hold back.
What are you doing? You've got a triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship, and you're doing a tag team match after you've beaten the champion earlier in the night? What are you doing? I want to understand. Somebody explain it to me. It's Rhea Ripley. It's Charlotte Flair. I don't really care about the Nikki gimmick. If I'm being completely honest, it's going to come and go. It's going to leave as fast as it got here.
Absolutely. It's a flash in the pan.
And the story is Charlotte and Rhea. We know that. I'm okay with this. It was a Money in the Bank thing to get the briefcase out of the way and to test a new gimmick. And it's kind of gotten over it. I understand that. Not with me. I have not really been a fan of it because it's just kind of out of nowhere. It's here. Like, whoa, what happened to Nikki? Oh, so you changed her just like you took her out of Sanity and put her in something else again because, okay. I'm just supposed to go with it?
You're mad she's no longer what she once was and they didn't use what she once was to your satisfaction.
You're damn right. Damn right. And we got to bring her out in this schoolyard kind of, I'm a superhero, just kind of thing. What? What are you doing? But the tag and Nia Jax is all of a sudden Nia Jax. It's a fatal 4-way. In the next 24 hours, now it's a fatal 4-way because Nia Jax is in it.
You think Nia might interfere on Saturday? Because Charlotte.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Do you think that Nia might be?
The one thing you didn't bring up is we had Shayna Baszler backstage watching this whole thing going on. Now
shuffling cards.
The thing that I kind of went about was Shayna watching this, going, could Shayna get in the Raw Women's Championship picture? That's okay.
Yeah. I think Nia could. I wonder what Shayna's deal is. Like the fact that they did have some other things going on there could either be them trying to keep consistency, or it could be absolutely nothing, and they just threw it all together because they just were like, "Bad, we'll just do this."
We're doing more of the they coexist kind of bullshit that we were doing before WrestleMania, and it's maddening.
Well, what the really maddening thing here is that it all felt arbitrary. Even though
on
they did have it like
for a Big Four,
they did have. Yeah, they did like connect the dots and say, well, Charlotte got beat up, so she wants another match, et cetera, et cetera. They did connect the dots that way. It still felt like, why would Rhea and Nikki be okay with a tag team? Why was there no other fallout from Rhea beating Nikki? What does Rhea feel about all of this? What does Nikki really feel about all of this? Like, we had no aftermath. There were no consequences.
Exactly, dog.
To any of this.
Thank you.
He didn't like it. I'm not going to lie, Dog Ziggler, not a big fan of Charlotte Flair. This might be disturbing for some people to hear, because Dog Ziggler is usually a big fan of very skilled, talented wrestlers. I think he just wants to bite Charlotte.
I thought he was going to be offended at the colors of Nikki's outfit, because dogs typically don't respond well to like bright fluorescence.
Yellows and blues.
Yeah.
No, he sees Nikki and he thinks she's like a really fun poodle. He wants to play with her. And my house is very kind of like metal. So like Rhea is like, oh, it looks like Dad's sister.
Yeah, it looks like the wall dressing, basically.
Yeah, but Charlotte, he's just like, there's something weird about her dad. Yeah. There's something weird.
Her father's really weird.
Yeah. Anyway, so anytime we get into an intense discussion about Charlotte Flair, he gets a little riled up. But that being said, again, the point stands. Like, this all didn't seem to have any real repercussions. It didn't seem to have any real meaning. It was just there to fill time and to maybe like muddy the waters as to who we thought was going to win on Saturday. That's literally the only explanation I can think, is we got to muddy the waters as to the expectations for Saturday. Okay.
I want to clarify something
Better
too.
ways to do that. Better ways to do that.
I would be just as upset about this if they did this when they do this. I know they do this with the men's division too, and I understand that. I like the fact that women are getting more TV time on wrestling. That's been a big thing over the last couple of years. I like the fact that we're seeing more of the card come out and wrestle. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You can't do it at the very top of the card with 3 women of the 4 that are having a triple threat match at the end of the week. And they've already had a match in the night. And they've already had like 4 weeks worth of matches against each other where they've all lost in some kind of way against one another. Why wouldn't you do something like this at the very beginning? What was this for? It was absolutely useless. It dumbed down and diluted the whole triple threat angst that we should have going into Saturday.
Yeah. We're saying the same thing in different ways. And that is basically that this did not have... We didn't leave this, even though their idea may have been to make us go, I have no idea who's winning on Saturday. I didn't feel like I left any more confused about who's or whatever. I didn't leave this any different than how I began it. As you say, it was essentially a waste.
I was still confused. Like, why did your face champion attack Charlotte Flair on commentary?
Just randomly.
What? That was about as dumb as the tag team match.
Well. Which seemed weird. And now, the only thing that I'm left with sitting here going is does Nia figure into the picture going forward? Does Shayna? Will they just drop that next week?
Yeah.
And then there's just like Charlotte Flair never gets any comeback for, screwing over Nia at the end of this match. I don't know, whatever. Or taking the glory. Didn't even really screw over. There's a guy there. There's a few other things on this show.
Let me do one catch up real quick. Kyle Thread 100 bits said,
Yes.
Tessa Blanchard has been training for months in San Antonio. Maybe it's my optimism sneaking out. But she's right there for a great one-off match and moment with crowds back and established legit. Anything can happen on Raw. Kind of a my wrestling bit watching at home. Kind of the reason I didn't go to Raw because it sucks. Despite my favorite being on it in Rhea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Can you imagine?
Can I imagine shelling out hundreds of dollars to go see that show last night? No. I'd have been mad.
No, Tessa Blanchard. Can you imagine her in that locker room with Charlotte? No. Combustible elements. Very combustible. No. But speaking of combustible elements, Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal have been having a really testy feud, Nick. And by testy, I mean it's about as attractive as a testicle. Apparently, Drew was just lined up with a handicap match this week against Jinder's poor lackeys, Veer and Shanky.
Let's talk about the stakes of that match. That's the thing to take away from this. So,
which there were stakes.
There were stakes. Let's talk about the stakes. Right. If Drew wins, he gets to use his sword. Is he actually going to dismember someone?
Wait, what? If he wins, Veer and Shanky are barred from ringside. He's gonna bring the sword regardless.
They get their barred if they lose. If he wins, he gets to bring his sword or so. I can't remember. Is he actually going to use his sword? Like, what value does bringing your sword to the match have?
You didn't hear about this, Nick? No, it's a whole thing over on Wrestling Observer. So they were talking about how on Saturday, the now match between Drew and Jinder, now that Veer and Shanky, who lost this, of course they did because it's Drew McIntyre, we're actually going to have a Black Knight match where Drew McIntyre will proceed to hack off each of Jinder Mahal's limbs one by one, after which Jinder Mahal will insist to the ref that he's okay and is capable of continuing as it's nothing but a flesh wound. And then by the end, Jinder will be sitting there in a pool of his own blood on the floor of the mat, screaming that he's about to bite Drew's ankles off, at which point Drew will just kind of like knock him over with his foot, and then he will raise his bloody sword high.
Or something like that.
Yes. He will claymore him flat on the mat and then raise his sword high and be like, "You're a loony." No, I don't know. I don't know what you're on about the sword. It's just the whole thing was that Veer and Shanky will be barred from ringside. It's just Drew and Jinder straight up on Saturday. Drew said after the match that he's going to embarrass Jinder on Saturday. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't unless there's some sort of silly interference and Veer and Shanky break the rules anyway, or Jinder cheats or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I frankly, I am, as much as I kind of wanted Drew and Jinder to have a feud, this is just such a boring feud.
Not like this.
Like nothing. Yeah. This is Jinder from 2017 or 18 or whatever it was when he was champ with the Bollywood boys running interference all over again. It's just boring.
Yeah.
It's boring.
And we don't even have the cool entrance that they eventually gave him in 2017.
Well, we're not seeing it enough. He still has it. It's just we're not seeing it enough.
I don't feel the angst that I should feel between two brothers that used to be in a faction together going at each other like this. And
they're barely touching on that. Like I've known you for 12 years or whatever it is. It's like, okay.
What's
at least
that mean?
Drew and Sheamus.
Yeah.
Right. Drew and Sheamus was a great one. The one-off that Drew had with Heath was great. This?
Yep.
It's nothing.
Dead man walking.
Nothing. That being said, there was another little interesting thing on the show. Apparently, Miz did not tell Morrison that he had been cleared for a couple of weeks to wrestle. And Morrison had his own version of a talk show instead of must-see TV, Miz TV. It was Moist TV.
Oh, you got to do a trigger warning before you say that word.
What, moist?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Why? You don't like the idea of moistness? Little fungal moistness?
Moist TV.
No? Moist TV. So Johnny Drip Drip apparently is a little bit perturbed with Miz. He's like, Miz pleading his innocence, saying, I would never lie to you. I would never go behind your back. Like, come on, man. Damien Priest comes out to say, hey, Morrison, your boy, he fooled you. And Miz says he's trying to tear us apart. And Morrison says, you know what? This gives me a great idea. Why don't you two have a match? And Miz goes, what? Damien Priest goes, sounds good to me. Pushes Miz into a kiddie pool, which pretty much sums up everything right there as far as this feud goes. And Priest decides to just basically murder Miz in the match. Although since Sheamus was ringside on commentary, he decided to finish Miz off with a brogue kick, which got the Irish ass kicker all pissed off. And he demanded that Priest apologize. Hey, basically said, I'm going to kick your ass on Saturday.
I can
cool.
actually
Priest,
see
Sheamus.
The transformation of Sheamus into a real-life leprechaun happening before my eyes.
I think he's actually like intent. Like it. This feels like his shtick. He's been in WWE for so long now that like if they were pushing the whole like, hey, you should really like with a really thick Irish accent tell people that they're coming for me gold. Like he would be like, you can bugger off.
But the long jacket and the hat.
Yeah.
And like I'm waiting for him to just go full, like maybe like St. Patrick's Day next year.
You keep your grubby paws off me, gold.
He comes out in full green with the big top hat, and he's got the clovers on, and just
he's got like a giant box of Lucky Charms that he's just like hoofing down.
Yeah, the marshmallows only kind.
Wearing a shillelagh.
I mean, just
right,
it feels like he's like steering into this a little bit more every single week.
Hey.
I mean, just does he start coming out with like a pot of gold? Like a toy one that's like around his arm and he's just holding it and it's got coins falling out of it and shit and he's running around? Like when does this get too far is the point I'm trying to get at. Like how far is it okay for Sheamus to take this gimmick?
What if Sheamus came out with like a bag full of gold that was shaped like weed nugs and he and Riddle formed a team called Pot o' Gold? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out ideas, WWE. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey man, Sheamus starts coming out to the Pogues. That'd be awesome. I'd be all there for it.
The Sheamus stuff, it's so campy. It makes me laugh, but it's gonna get a little much soon. And I'm wondering when they're going to flip. Are they actually going to flip that title to Priest? Are they going to pay that off? I feel like we've been doing the Miz Morrison and Priest things since Bad Bunny before WrestleMania.
We have. That's been going on.
I'm just like, okay. And they're not even really feuding because it's about Priest and Sheamus. So, like, what am I supposed to get into here?
Like, Priest is trying his best, but his character and their characters just... it's a little grating to me. Like, it doesn't quite work. Like, Priest can't quite be cool with those two goofballs there, and like his character's supposed to be cool, and he comes across as dorky too often. And frankly, the more he gets with Sheamus, who's actually still terrifying, even though he's pipes the NYPD or singing Galway Bay, he's still intimidating.
Right.
So the more we get of Priest and Sheamus, the happier I am.
I agree.
And but the other interesting thing here, though, Miz and Morrison having that bit of a split, and backstage, Morrison's still kind of pissed off at Miz, and Miz is doing the whole like, "Oh, baby, come on, she meant nothing to me. Come on, where's my moist buddy, huh? Where's my drip?" And they're like, doing water puns again. Are we seeing the Miz and Morrison breakup coming?
Please,
Johnny Drip solo face run. Let's go. I'm here for it. Fingers crossed on that one.
Intercontinental title picture's kind of, other than Shinsuke, but I mean, whatever went down last week. But I mean, it was getting kind of stale over there. So, I mean,
we're about a month and a half away from a potential draft. So that's usually when it happens.
Yep.
We'll split them up. Yeah. I mean, think about it. If they start now, they got about a month and a half to split them up, and then they go to different brands. It's very possible.
That's good stuff.
Very possible.
Good stuff.
Speaking of tag teams, Ali and Mansoor. Mustafa Ali and Mansoor. They're an up-and-coming tag team. A couple of dudes. Ali is a former bitter cheater, and Mansoor is the sweet babyface who won't ever cheat. Last week, Ali got beaten pretty badly in a match, and Mansoor had to watch. This week, Mansoor was about to get beat by Mace, and Ali decided to drop kick Mace where the ref couldn't see to help him get the roll-up pin, and Mansoor won. I wonder how he feels about Ali cheating to win. Will we ever find out, Nick?
Probably not. No.
Probably not.
This is
Karrion Kross,
DOA as well. Unfortunately for Mason T-Bar, they're cancer. Anybody that gets paired with them, it's still like nobody gives a shit.
Jesus Christ.
With condolences to Dijak. Dijak!
Yeah. How low he has fallen.
Yeah.
Karrion Kross squashed Jeff Hardy. He beat him up backstage first. Jeff came out selling like a sumbitch, and Kross just cross-jacketed him, and that was that. Great. Maybe you shouldn't have had Jeff Hardy beat him in the first place. Why do you have to do all this work? It's just...
Because I'm going to do it my way, damn it.
Speaking of DOA.
Yeah.
And speaking of DOA, Doudrop got a tongue lashing from Eva Marie, and not in a good way.
Whoa.
Not in the fun way.
Okay.
And she was told by Eva Marie to go get the doll. Eva Marie's going to take care of Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. Ooh, ah. But Doudrop needs to go get the doll. And Alexa apparently knew this somehow and was like, ooh, Lily, someone's going to come play with us. Yeah. And so Doudrop shows up, tries to grab the doll, and Alexa goes, I don't think you should do that. And Doudrop looks the doll in the face, gets a weird look on her face, gives the doll back, and just kind of like walks away. Eva Marie finds her backstage, and Doudrop's still kind of like, 1,000-yard stare, hypnotized, or whatever the stupid idea it is. And Eva Marie goes, you failed me. Do you know what that feels like? It feels like being slapped across the face. And she cracks Doudrop a couple of times across the face. Piper Niven! Sorry, it comes out sometimes. Slaps Doudrop across the face a couple of times, and Doudrop looks mad, and Eva Marie stalks off. And we now have another SummerSlam match. It's Eva Marie versus Alexa Bliss.
In an I couldn't care less match.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Yes.
With Lily and...
yeah.
Let it die. Let it die. Doudrop, turn on Eva at SummerSlam is the only way you're getting any crowd reaction.
Dear Doudrop.
For this match whatsoever.
Dear Piper Niven, please folly the out of that doll.
Run from
just
this
take that
Piper.
doll and just rip it in half. Make a scene. Make a big deal out of it. Be the downfall of Alexa Bliss. End scene. And we're done.
Treat it like Rowan's spider and step on it. End this stupidity. Yep. This is now down in the Rowan spider realm of dumb angles. It's over. It's over. You guys screwed it up. You ruined it.
You had me with the Jack in the Box and the thorny crown and the black goo at WrestleMania. You had my attention for 10 seconds, and then you bungled it. You completely bungled it.
When Lily first came out, we kind of went, okay, this is weird. Yep. Maybe it'll go. No.
As soon as the doll showed up, I was like, yep, no. I'm out. I'm done. I'm good.
It was like the first couple of weeks of Rowan's having something in the cage. We were like, what could this be? And then at a certain point, we're like, this is going to be dumb whenever it comes out. And then it was even worse than we thought it was going to be. It was the worst. And now this is now the worst. And finally, that wascally Reginald, he's in the park.
The one thing
talking
I
about
actually
how
enjoyed on Raw.
He was in the park getting chased by R-Truth in his swamp monster outfit, his ghillie suit, and Tozawa dressed up like a garbage can. And they were hunting him in the park, and he, of course, did incredible acrobatics to get away from them, including a flip over the car, which I swear to God, if they had that trampoline hit on the ground, that's the only way that would make any kind of feasible physical sense. Otherwise, the dude is straight a superhero because he literally went over the car, like handstand on the top of the car over and like nothing. That was stupid awesome. That was incredible. Brilliant to put this title on Reginald. We say it every week. He is his own, like we always said, it had to be like a crazy gimmick with the 24/7 championship. He's his own crazy gimmick.
I never thought I would hear myself say this, but these sentences never end well. I never thought I would hear myself say this, but the 24/7 championship story is my favorite thing on Raw right now.
What?
I run down the entire list of everything that happened on Raw last night. Don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care. Seriously. And now that we're at the end, I'm going to get up on the soapbox.
Well, hold on a second here, because I just two quick things. One, Elias is still dead. He came out a little tombstone saying 2017, 2021, Elias is dead. He doesn't drop him the gimmick or something, because now the crowds are back. Who needs a guy who plays a guitar and pisses off huge arenas? Why would that be a gimmick you'd want to keep? But whatever. Yeah. He's still dead. Reginald's still entertaining. I'm sorry, Nick, to hear that in 3 hours of show, you only found 4 minutes of Reginald to actually be any good. Let me dust on the soapbox for you here, sir. Yeah. I understand that you have a speech you have been wanting to give this entire time, and finally it's time to let Nick off of the chain. Everyone sit back, brace yourselves. Nick's about to unleash.
I kind of just got it out, the short version. Literally, RK Bro and Riddle kind of reuniting. Randy Orton and Riddle reuniting RK Bro to challenge. Okay, that's fine. All right, all right. We kind of saw that coming for the last 3 months that we've been watching this stuff. Goldberg and Lashley don't care. The women's championship match, don't care. Drew McIntyre and Jinder, God, I want to care and I want to invest in that so bad. Don't care. Miz and Morrison with Priest somehow circling around Sheamus for the U.S. title. I mean, Sheamus is killing it. Priest is kind of phoning it in a little bit. He just doesn't know where he is yet. But I want to find reasons to care. Ali and Mansoor and T-Bar and Mace don't care. Karrion Kross and Jeff Hardy don't care. Doudrop Lily, Eva Marie, Alexa Bliss don't care. What am I supposed to invest in here for your second biggest show of the year? It's all over on SmackDown, if I'm being honest.
I'm going to say again that some of this, I understand. Like, they have done nothing to make you want to invest or care in it.
Yeah.
Right? I'll give you that. Like, where I can take a step back and say, yeah, no, I can see why someone would not be invested in that. I can see why some people would. I can see why some people would be invested in Karrion Kross versus Jeff Hardy. If you're a big Jeff Hardy fan, you're probably invested in that. Like, oh, Jeff Hardy's getting beaten up. What's going to happen to Jeff? It's all about your own personal perspective. Me, I think the RK Bro stuff is fantastic. I'm wildly entertained by it. I'm kind of surprised that it's not connecting with you. But at the same time, like, okay, fine, it's not clicking for you. But there's a lot on the show that I'm going to sit back and say maybe it's not connecting to people because they're just not doing a good job of giving us reasons to care.
Totally.
They're giving us reasons to care in RK Bro. There's there's really funnily, obviously over the top, big acting, but it's good acting. It's good timing. Riddle's killing his role here. And that has stuff to invest in. We don't know enough about, Nikki Cross, I would invest in her if they had a consistent idea of what they were doing with her. Oh, I'm really confident I can go out and beat Rhea Ripley, and that shows that I'm almost a superhero. She goes out and just loses, and that's it. It's never talked about again. How does that play through with her character? Rhea doesn't have a character. Charlotte's an evil chick who never gets her comeuppance. She does, but it's not like in a significant way. She walked out of the show tall. So I don't know why people would invest in that unless they, pre-cared about the characters. I personally find stuff to be interested in Ali and Mansoor, but I can see how people wouldn't because they're not really they're not giving us a lot of time, or it doesn't feel like there's a lot of effort in it.
Because it's fool me once, fool me twice, and now they're going for a third time. You tried to get me invested in Retribution. Sure. That failed. You brought Ali in and tried to make what the leftovers of Retribution mean something, and you scrapped that. Now you're going to come back to the well and try to get me into some kind of angle now that Mansoor is a part of it, and try now. Yeah. Ooh, there's history between Ali and T-Bar and May. I'm out. I gave up on the Retribution thing a long time ago.
Sure.
What are they trying to tell me?
Miz and Morrison, I'm invested in. Will they, won't they break up? Like there's things for me on Raw that I can look at and go, oh, that's intriguing. That's intriguing. But I will admit there's a big old desert with a couple of oases. There's a whole lot of dead space on this show. I think you found more of it than I did. I think you hit a breaking point, maybe.
It's SummerSlam. It's the go-home show for SummerSlam. Right. Second only to WrestleMania in the year. And you've had 4 months and 2 pay-per-views to give me reasons to care about the card, at least the Raw side of it, at SummerSlam.
For you, is the Goldberg thing fool me once, fool me twice? Because Goldberg's in kind of a cycle right now where he comes back and he says, I've still got it. I'm still the hero. We've done the whole son angle before. Like, this is not new for Goldberg. You're a big Goldberg fan. You were excited when he first came back. Are you still excited by
Ironically,
Goldberg
for what he was, not for what he is.
Which is funny because, considering what his whole promo was about. Well, maybe he'll show you what Goldberg is.
I bet he will.
Like he's going to show his son.
I'm sure. Oh, he's going to show me all right. He's going to get locked up in Lashley's Hurt Lock, and that's going to be ball game. It's what are we doing here? Like, and this whole involvement of having Gage involved, his son, and his son up there on the ramp flexing like, yeah, I'm 15 and I'm on national TV. I got to show my muscles.
Last time I heard of a guy named Gage, he got hit by a truck. But luckily he did come back, although he ended up stabbing his family.
He was pizza rollering Jericho the other night. Nick Gage.
Oh, I was talking about Pet Sematary.
Wow.
It's already Halloween.
That's a stretch reference, but I dig it.
It's already Halloween.
That's right. That was the baby's name, Gage.
We're past the 15th of August. It's already Halloween over here.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Indeed. But also wonderful, something that happened this last weekend, and that, of course, would be heading from WWE, not overseas, but right down the street from me at the LA Coliseum. Ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, we had New Japan Resurgence.
So, Surrey and Dangerous, I'm going to hand the floor to you because I have not watched this yet. I understand there are things that I am going to care about on this show. I, unfortunately, did not get to make the trek down to South Central with you because I do not live in Los Angeles anymore.
Nope. Where do you live, Nick?
For now, Raleigh, North Carolina.
North Carolina!
Sorry, thank you.
North Carolina!
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Justin Roberts.
Get it
so run us down. We all know the card. Run it down for us. We knew there were going to be some big things potentially happening here. Fallout from previous shows that had happened. Fallout from crossover events. All kinds of good stuff. So
to be clear, when I first saw the card for this, it did not look that impressive. Like the only cool thing was like Jay White was going to be there, but by that point we knew he was an Impact, so it was like, okay, that makes sense. He's in the States. Right. Then all of a sudden they were like, oh yeah, and Jon Moxley. Oh yeah, and the Good Brothers. Oh yeah, and Ishii is going to be there. And then the card started coming together, and the card ended up being sick. Like it was most of the New Japan Strong guys and like, LA Dojo guys and lots of like Shibata disciples. But they put together some damn good matches. And of course then the main event with Lance Archer beating Jon Moxley at a Texas Death Match over on AEW to get the New Japan US title. He then immediately called out, Tanahashi actually called him out and said, you know what belt I've never won? It's that U.S. belt. I've won every other belt a million goddamn times. I maybe Lance, you and I go back. Let's have a match for that. And Lance said, abso-goddamn-lutely. Yeah. That was our main event.
Who would turn down a challenge from the Ace?
So Tanahashi came over to the United States for this.
He came over
Which
last
right
year
there-
for the New Year's Dash thing as well.
Yeah, it's the dude does the work.
Yeah.
Still.
Did you get to be in his presence close by? Did he do the selfie tour around the outside?
He didn't. He did a quick one. It was not, I think, what you got, largely because I think of COVID. Like he went around and kind of like high-fived everybody.
Is that not the
but
most
we'll
beautiful man in the world?
We will get to
Okay.
all of that. This is all going to end with Tanahashi and Archer. That's the big thing to talk about. But not the only thing to talk about, because there were surprises on this show, Nick, that are going to make your nipples explode. And I'll get to them. But first, Carl Fredericks and Alex Coughlin kicked this off. Nice little wrestling match, very straightforward, Shibata style, strong style, LA Dojo boys. Carl Fredericks picked up the win there.
Love
then
Fredericks.
we had yeah, same. Coughlin's a beast too, dude. Like he's going on a tour of fighting guys, and he looks fantastic. Like Fredericks has a bit more of the the flash and the panache, but Coughlin's amazing.
I see future Gaijin of New Japan written all over Fredericks. Like he's gonna be a big deal.
Maybe. Coughlin, I keep an eye on him too. Like he really impressed me in this match.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't win. But then we had our first tag match of the night: Ren Narita, TJP, and Clark Connors versus Fred Rosser. You might remember from WWE. Rocky Romero and Wheeler Yuta.
Hey, I know that name.
Yeah, right. Wheeler got some big chance. Everyone was happy to see Wheeler. Everyone was happy to see Rocky. Rocky got a whole bunch of chances. This match was basically just them all trying to stuff Rocky so he couldn't do his forever run in the corners.
Right.
And Fred Rosser, by the way, is an absolute goddamn eunuch. Unit. Not a eunuch. Good Lord, he's the opposite of a eunuch. He's a eunuch. He's dead. No, Fred Rosser is an absolute unit. And the interesting thing about this is that him and Ren Narita kept getting into it. They couldn't stop eyeballing each other and facing off and having little one-on-ones. That was just pretty cool. Because Rosser is coming across like a really angry dude right now. TJP's flying all over the place. And poor Clark Connors, who you might not recognize anymore, Nick, because he's got really long blonde hair right now and basically looks like a stunted Hangman Page, a fact which the audience could not stop reminding him of. And everyone chanting Hangman Page at him, which I thought was the height of rudeness and stupidity. Like if you're at a show, you're like, hey, you look like Hangman Page. hey man, Hangman Page. Hey, cowboy shit. he looks like Hangman Page. Stupid. Does he look like Hangman Page? Well, he's not Hangman Page. No. Sit down, shut up, cheer the match. Moron. Sorry, it was pissed me off.
I guess.
Because Connors was in there doing work. Come on, man. Next up, we had Chris Dickinson, Fred Yehai, Leo Rush, Yuya Uemura, my boy, and Adrian Quest, who stepped in at the last minute because Brody King was out with unforeseen circumstances. We have no idea what that was. But Adrian Quest stepped in to get beat up for most of this match. They had a match against Team Filthy. Of course, that would be Tom Filthy Lawler, your strong champ right now. JR Kratos, who is, I thought he was scary on TV. That is a scary man in person. That's a scary looking dude. They also had, of course, Danny Limelight, Royce Isaacs, and Jarrell Nelson filling out Team Filthy there. Really funny to hear. So Tom Lawler comes out in what I can only describe as Daisy Dukes. Like he had the tightest jean shorts on I've ever seen on a man that didn't live in West Hollywood.
Rick Steiner used to do that, or Scott Steiner used to do that.
Scott Steiner wishes his were this tight. They were so tight. I now know what religion Tom Lawler is.
Whoa!
Okay, they were tight. And he was getting catcalled from the audience the whole match until finally he just started like gyrating in the middle of the ring with them, and everyone just laughed and shut up after that. Everyone was like, all right, he knows. Yeah. But then, this was a great match, as you can imagine. Lots of guys flying everywhere. Chris Dickinson is also a terrifying human being in person. Big boy. Big. He feels like a linebacker, like a middle linebacker, football player. Big dude. But at the end, so as I said, Adrian Quest stepped in to basically be the guy who gets beat up by everybody all match. Right. I don't know what plans they had with Brody King originally, but Adrian Quest was there. But he ended up doing an incredible top rope acai moonsault to the outside at the end, got his shit in. And ultimately, you had Leo Rush coming in to do the final hour on Danny Limelight. And Uemura comes in, hits the overhead suplex. 1, 2, 3. Yuya Uemura gets the pin. And here came the first exciting moment of the night, Nick.
Uh-oh.
Because afterwards, everyone got out of the way, and Yuya Uemura, who I've said on the show, is a future top star in New Japan. He is the future of New Japan. He got on the mic to say, "What's up, US? Nice to meet you. I'm Yuya Uemura. I'll be staying with you guys for a while. Very nice to meet you." But as he was about to leave, Shibata himself hit the ring. Shibata hits the ring, holds out an LA Dojo shirt to Uemura, grabs the mic, and just goes, "Come with me."
Oh!
And Uemura does. My first mark-out moment of the night.
Tell us what that means. Tell us why that's significant.
Well, because Shibata is the head trainer at LA Dojo. He is one of the most fierce competitors in New Japan and all Japan and just Japanese history. There's a guy who fought so hard in the ring, he gave himself an aneurysm in a match and almost died and is now barred from wrestling as a result. So he decided to go train the next generation here in LA, which he is now doing. And he's the reason why Hiroki Goto is in great shape right now. He's the reason that Kenta is in great shape right now. All the dudes in LA Dojo are ripped and jacked. And that also means that they do New Japan Strong, which will now be going in front of a live audience starting in a couple of weeks. And so that means Uemura will be getting trained by Shibata, which is incredible considering the prestige already that's been heaped on him. And then he will be, I assume, released back into New Japan to dominate. So very exciting that Shibata is taking interest in Uemura. I am so happy. That was my first mark-out moment, but it was not my last one. We had a couple more matches between that and my next one. Juice Robinson came out to a nice ovation. Hikuleo, and he had a match. Hikuleo lost, but then beat down Juice afterwards, so he didn't really get to celebrate that much.
Tony didn't get in the ring and stop him?
There was no Tony, although I did hear a few "do it for Tony" Juice calls there. I'm sorry, Nick. I had the shot. I just couldn't take the shot.
You weren't going to do it for Nick or none of that?
I'm not doing it for Nick. No,
right.
I had the shot. I couldn't take it. You know I love Juice. I love me some Juice. That guy
no hard
is
feelings. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Had the chance, but I couldn't do it. You pull your own triggers.
That's fine. That's fine.
And then the next match was probably my second favorite match of the night. Tomohiro Ishii, who got a hero's welcome, coming out to face Moose.
Oh.
Who is in great shape. Dude is ripped up and is easily, like, I posted a picture in the Facebook discussion group. He's easily 12 to 14 inches taller than Ishii, legit. And this match just kicked ass. It was a classic Ishii match. You have to hit me so hard I can't get up. And I'm Ishii, so that means you have to hit me pretty goddamn hard. And Moose just dominated him for most of the match before Ishii had this incredible Ishii comeback to win. And he was able to get Moose, as I said, who is significantly bigger than him, up for the vertical drop brainbuster.
Oh.
He suplexed the dude, stood him straight up in the air.
I can't wait to watch this later after the show.
This match kicked seven sorts of ass. It's what you want from an Ishii match. It's why he's so consistent. It's because he's really good at making matches and working matches where whether he wins or loses, everyone in the match feels like a badass. He feels like a badass. It's just badass. It just was a badass match.
So
and
lots
Moose,
of trading, a little bit of rope running, big strength spots, like typical Ishii kind of stuff.
Dude, I knew Moose was good. I've seen Moose work.
Yeah.
Moose looked fantastic here.
I thought Moose was Impact.
He was. He still is.
So we had a lot of impact here.
There was a bit of impact here, yeah. But dude, Moose has a goddamn drop kick. Incredible drop. When you check out the match, his drop kicks, he's got two that are just amazing.
Right.
Amazing. But then the other big moment happened.
Uh-oh.
Will Ospreay's music hit.
What? You got to see Ospreay?
And everyone, biggest pop of the night. Everyone stands up. What the hell is going on? And sure enough, Will Ospreay comes up out the back. What in the world? Comes up out the back, gets into the ring, and essentially says that he's pissed off because he was forced to they stripped him of the belt, even though he broke his neck for the company, had to go off for 4 months to recover from a broken neck, so he says. And they stripped him and gave it to somebody else. Meanwhile, Moxley couldn't defend the U.S. Championship for like 17 months or whatever. He made some number up. And yet they let him have it. So he's pissed off. He pulls out the actual belt and says, this was never lost. It's still legitimate. And you can call Shingo the interim champ.
The New Japan Divas title?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Pulls that out, says, I'm still the legitimate champ. I never lost this belt. And I'm here to what happens in September, everybody?
We have contested championships. Okay.
He says, so guess what happens at September in Japan? Everyone starts going, G1! And he goes, that's right, the G1. And I'm here to announce that I will not be in the G1 because I'm not going back to Japan. I'm staying here in the United States. I'm going to teach these New Japan Strong boys a lesson. And you know what? Someone once said that there is a forbidden door here in the U.S., and I might take the real New Japan title through that door.
For those that are listening to the audio later, this is my stunned face. We are oh boy, are we going to see Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay on AEW?
There are so many possibilities. The entire crowd at this point was going kind of
like what I'm doing right now. Just internalizing.
Kind of what you're doing right now. Yeah, no, everyone was jaw on the floor, feeling like, holy shit. Did Ospreay just say he's going to be touring the U.S. with the New Japan title, which he never lost, going wherever he wants and doing whatever he wants to do?
Shingo Takagi's a sham. Say that? I'm contesting the championship, all that stuff.
Yeah. And for me, as a dude who I said Will Ospreay's winning the G1 this year, obviously that's not going to happen now.
I'm not mad at that now.
This is better.
This is better.
This is better. Ospreay going around the U.S. having dream matches with people while holding the New Japan title. Yes, my eye holes, put it in them now. That's so this ended with the New Japan Strong guys coming out and Will calling them all bitches and throwing a water bottle at them and running away through the crowd. It's still, and then posing. For some weird reason, they were testing fireworks in the Coliseum while the show was going on, and it totally interrupted the.
Because football's starting back up.
Yeah,
USC
but it was still
football.
really weird, and everyone's like, "The hell is going on?" But Ospreay took the brilliant moment to like pose in front of them like they were his fireworks.
Brilliant.
So anyway, Ospreay was there. That was insane. And so he's going to be touring the U.S. Dream matches on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen.
Remember when we got the bumper at the Globe? I think it was Triple Mania or something.
That's right.
Or Three Mendes, not Triple Mania. Three Mendes.
Yeah, 3 Mendes, which is coming up. Actually, I'm hoping to go to 3 Mendes again this year.
I know.
Main event: Malachi Black.
I can't wait to move back.
King versus Flamita and Bandito. Main event, baby.
God.
Yep, gonna be sick.
Oh.
But anyway, there was more to this show. That wasn't it. It wasn't done.
Wait, that wasn't the closeout, the whole big thing?
No, there was still more after this.
Oh my God.
That's how crazy this show was. Is like that moment was just in the middle of the show. We then had the Good Brothers versus John Moxley and a surprise tag team partner who turned out to be Yuji Nagata. They came out and had a nice little, I'll call it a nice little match. It was interrupted by the fireworks, but they put on a nice little match. Ultimately, and Nagata still has it. Holy crap, that dude can still go at his age. Incredible.
Amazing.
So this match is fine, but ultimately Moxley goes to get a chair outside, and his plan is turned on him, and he eats a magic killer on the chair on the outside. He's done. He's toast. Nagata gets back in the ring. He eats a magic killer. 1, 2, 3. The Good Brothers win this one. And then they start to cut a promo. The mics go dead. We had some technical issues there. They couldn't work the mics. Couldn't get a mic to work. So they looked like they were about to leave when Gorillas of Destiny's music hit.
What?
And Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa got in the ring and faced off with Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows.
They're stateside too?
They were stateside too, which means that an old school Bullet Club feud can happen. You specifically had Tama Tonga and Carl Anderson, two of the founding members of Bullet Club, nose to nose in the ring before, of course, the Good Brothers powdered out.
God comes to AEW and challenges the Bucks for the titles.
Or Impact, like it's on. They're here. They're here for the show. They're able to get.
I'm gonna cry.
They're able to be here.
Holy smokes!
Old OG Bullet Club feud it's a thing.
Jay Wolf just throwing 100 bits said Ian almost made me wreck my car with the Ospreay news. I was screaming in my car.
I still am trying to get my voice back from Saturday, Jay Wolf, when I lost my voice screaming at screaming to Ospreay, being like, "Oh no, I'm staying in the States with this shit." I was like, "Oh, what? Oh!" Madness.
It's happening, you guys.
So, and after all of that, we had Jay White and David Finlay try to put on a match, and everyone was just like,
yeah, the crowd's blown up.
And like, look, respect to David Finlay. The dude's a good wrestler. He's not a main eventer.
No.
And this was a co-main event, and it just didn't work. Everyone, but by the end, he was getting so much heat. Like, he was the heel. Everyone was cheering for Jay White. Everyone was just like wanting the match to end.
It's unfortunate that his relevance is tied to Juice Robinson, who has been incredibly over the last few years, was one of the big blue chippers in 2017, I remember. And just his success is tied to Juice Robinson, unfortunately. So if he's not doing anything with Juice,
he's the Genetti.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
He totally is the Genetti.
Finlay seems like a really nice guy. He's obviously got, the great family history. He's a good wrestler. But I was talking with a few of the people that were at the show afterwards, and we were just like, what is it about David Finlay? Like, when you see him in this match with Juice Robinson, when you see them live together, there is such a disparity between a guy who can headline the Tokyo Dome and a guy who is in C block in the G1. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you can see why they're in those positions. Finlay does not have the connection with the crowd. He doesn't have that otherworldly charisma that you have to have as a main eventer. He does not have it.
Yeah.
And that's no knock on him. Some people have it, some people don't. He's still very good. He's just not a main eventer. He's just not. Could he possibly get there one day? Maybe. I didn't see it here. And it sucks to say that because, again, I like the kid. But Jay White just blew him out of the water. It's why by the end of the match, if you listen back to the show, you can hear the entire crowd turns on him.
Damn.
And they're all cheering for Jay. And they're all just like, please, Jay, put this kid away.
Damn.
He was like just catcalling him. Yeah, it was brutal. After the match, Ishii comes out to face off with Jay White. So it looks like Ishii will be challenging for the never open weight
never open weight back. Okay.
Can't blame him.
All right.
And
I'm
Jay
down
White
with that.
versus Ishii, always down with that. That'll be a good one. And then we got to the main event. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Lance Archer.
So I need to preface this by saying I've not yet seen this. It was on my list to watch tonight. I know you've been egging me on, Nick, drop everything, go watch this.
Best match on the show. It's not like an all-time technical classic. It's just a wildly entertaining match. It's the perfect Lance Archer match. I'm going to say that right there. It's this and Will Ospreay, first match of the G1, are the two best matches of Lance Archer's career. In terms of Lance, like, being entertained by and, like, just nailing what Lance Archer is. This is, if not his best match, then second best.
Damn.
It's perfect. It's flawless.
Well, of course the ace would bring it out of him.
Of course. Yeah. He may have had a better technical match, but in terms of giving you what you want from Lance Archer from the get-go, Tanahashi comes out, does his whole entrance. He's radiant. It's beautiful. Everyone's in awe of him. And then Archer comes out and does what Archer does in New Japan. He punches every young boy ringside, lays them out, gets in the ring, gets in Tanahashi's face, and whoops his ass for 20 minutes. It was Lance Archer kicking the shit out of Tanahashi for 20 minutes. He was tossing around the ref. He was yelling at the crowd. They were trying to catcall him, and he was catcalling them back. He was like had the crowd in the palm of his hand. That guy was at the showmanship that Lance Archer had in this. It could have just been a simple match, but because of his connection with the crowd here, what was I just saying about David Finlay?
Yeah.
Lance Archer had everything that Finlay did not have. And of course, it's freaking Tanahashi. So you want babyface comebacks? You want fire? You've got freaking her. Like, the man wrote the modern book on that.
Yeah.
Literally wrote the modern book on that. The greatest babyface comeback I've seen in the last 20 years is Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kota Ibushi at the G1 finals from 2 or 3 years ago. I'm all over the place. I forget which one
2
it
years
was.
ago.
I think it was 3 years ago.
2019.
Fine. Amazing match, this. I will not spoil any more of it than that. You need to actually watch the action, Nick, to know what I'm talking about. It's the perfect Lance Archer match.
Okay.
But it does end with Tanahashi fighting from underneath and hitting 3 high fly flows on Archer to put him down and win the U.S. Championship.
Tanahashi's the U.S. champion.
Tanahashi is the U.S. champ. But now comes the extra, the prestige, if you will.
Okay.
Right. Because after the magic trick, you had the little extra thing, right? Yeah. Remember that movie, The Prestige?
Yeah.
And they're like, got the trick. Then there's the little extra thing afterwards that makes it special.
Yeah.
Match was great. What came after was what made it special.
Okay.
So after the match, Archer says, Archer, you don't know what he's going to do. He's been heel the entire time. After the match, he grabs a mic and says, Tanahashi, you and I've fought you for over 10 years. You gave me one of the best matches of my career at the G1 back in 2011. You truly are the ace of New Japan.
Okay.
I love it every time we beat the shit out of each other. And Tanahashi kind of just like mumbles something, and Archer goes, he just said it hurts a lot. Archer goes, yes, it hurts every time.
Tana's not retiring, is he?
So Archer says, there's no one else I would rather have take that belt off me than you. Whole, like, good sportsman babyface moment. He and Tana hug it out. Nick, you will be in tears. That's why I wanted you to see this, is if you didn't see this coming, you'd be in tears.
Okay.
This is exactly what you love after a match.
I'm welling up right now, just picturing it in my head.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's incredible. And then Archer steps back and says, but now that you have that belt, I have one request from you. I want you to go do what you got to do with it, but I want you to come see me in AEW. And when you come see me in AEW, you bring that belt, and I want my rematch for that belt in AEW. And Tanahashi says, I promise you will get it.
I have to.
Tanahashi to AEW confirmed. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. It's happening.
I have to process this. So we've got Gorillas of Destiny, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Will Ospreay, all stateside, and all on the precipice of, like, I've joked around in the past about we're going to mark the hell out when we hear the coin drop on Dynamite for the first time.
Yes.
That's not happening, but holy shit, look at what could happen.
Tana playing guitar, air guitar. He promised it will happen.
Go Ace chance on Dynamite soon incoming. Dynamite.
Well, maybe not soon. He did go back to Japan already. Tana's already out of the country. But he did promise to return with the belt and face Archer in AEW. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Tanahashi has promised to cross the Forbidden Door and come back to the U.S. So, yeah, lots went down on Resurgence. A very good show, but just all the extra, like, Forbidden Door stuff that went on, all the extra, like, possible dream matches that could be happening, people showing up in cool places. It's a wonderful time to be a wrestling fan, and this show just, for me, proved that. For the first one back after COVID, been a year and a half, 2 years since I've been to a show, and finally the first one back for it to go down like this, where it left me with a feeling of such hope that there's so much cool shit coming. So much cool shit on the horizon. Like, it was fantastic. They've already announced they've got some more shows coming up. They've got a little tour throughout the fall. Let me see if I can get the actual dates on that. I don't have it in front of me, but they did say that they're going to be coming back November 13th to San Jose with a pretty gnarly card. That's a big arena. They're playing San Jose, so I'm sure they're going to stock that one with some good stuff. Might even see some of the big boys coming back for that. And then they're also going to do Riverside down here on the 15th or 14th.
I like that venue. Reminds me of the kind of Royal Albert Hall style, the classic,
classic
hall.
Very cool. Very cool venue. So yeah, lots to come for America with New Japan. Lots of strong stuff happening.
We've been waiting for them to make this move. I'm sure COVID put them back a year or so, but I mean, we've been waiting. They've been saying for at least a couple of years they want to have a bigger presence in the U.S. We've seen them show up on Roku TV and Fight.tv, and like they're trying to make their push to get more eyes from the U.S. wrestling fans from the U.S. on their stuff. And this is the way to do it. Crossing over with Impact and AEW, absolutely the way to do it.
And then also making sure that they bring in a lot of their stateside talent, like all of the strong guys.
Yep.
It's a smart way to do it. Like create, put a foot on the ground.
And there's some familiar faces. TJP, Jeff Cobb. I don't know if Cobb will come back over, but I mean, is he going to come over for 3 minutes?
No, he's not going to be over 3 minutes.
Damn. No, damn. Hoping you would get to smell him again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He is a good smelling guy. But yeah, so lots of exciting stuff coming over there in New Japan. Definitely check that out. There's at least a few matches on the show you have to check out.
I want to watch the whole thing.
You specifically, Nick, you have to watch the whole thing. I recommend the whole thing, but if you're just going to check out one or two, definitely check out Tanahashi Archer. Definitely check out Ishii and Moose. And if you want to watch Will Ospreay's promo, it is fantastic.
Yeah, I will. Definitely.
So he's on another level right now. So great stuff in New Japan, but that was not all. Because not only did we have American wrestling and Japanese wrestling, but we also had Mexican wrestling because we had, ladies and gentlemen, AAA Triple Mania.
Well, I got to kick this off with a little bit of business. JB resubscribed with a tier 1 for 13 months. Subscribe from JB, 2 accounts like a champ.
Hello.
2 accounts. Man,
JB also at Resurgence, by the way.
Get lots of chicken. JB was also at Resurgence. Nice.
She was mad because she was asking what the card was, and she said, "Oh, is Ospreay going to be there?" And I said, "No, he's not going to be there." She's like, "Okay, I won't wear my Ospreay shirt."
Thank you.
She was very mad at me for that.
Okay.
Ospreay was there, you idiot. I'm sorry, JB. Please don't put me in a heel hook. Yeah. Again. So Triple Mania went down this last weekend too. We got to rip through this because we're running out of time. Yeah. But some of the big matches that I think most everyone would be interested in. A last-minute thrown together women's match for the Reina de Reinas title, which was held by Fabi Apache, also known as Lady Shani. Might know Lady Shani. She was the Reina de Reinas champion. No longer she dropped the title to Deonna Purrazzo, who is now a double champ. Also being
good job, NXT.
So that went down. Naturally, Hijo de Tirantes did some awful officiating, and that was part of the match as well. Really overbooked match, but it was fun. We had an absolutely insane 3-way
well, you knew it was going to be, though.
You knew it was going to be that way.
Laredo Kid and the Lucha Brothers. You knew this was going to be nuts.
Hijo de Vikingo and Laredo Kid on one team alone is enough to make it a crazy match. But then you also had Taurus and Brian Cage versus the Lucha Brothers for the Lucha Brothers Tag Team Championships. Lucha Brothers do retain, but that match was banana. And then we had what was actually the main event. It went on last, but I'm going to switch the 2 main events here. One of the main events was Psycho Clown versus Rhea Scorpion. It was a mask versus hair match. Psycho Clown, his mask versus Rhea Scorpion's hair. Now, of course, historically, Rhea Scorpion did actually beat Psycho Clown's dad in a hair versus hair match, Brazos de Plata, back in, I think it was 2011 or so. So the win had to come back to the family, if you know what I mean. So
Gotcha.
Psycho Clown did actually win this match. A very brutal match, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. But Rhea Scorpion did lose, and he asked if it'd be okay if his daughter cut his hair, which was...
Oh, talk about keeping it in the family. Holy smokes.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Very great match with a lot of history. Brutal match, badass. But it was not what a lot of people came to the show for.
Right.
A lot of people came to the show for Andrade versus Kenny Omega for the AAA Mega Championship. And this match did not disappoint. It was, ironically, and this is something that Meltzer got in a little hot water for. Meltzer said it was not as good as it could have been. And that was his criticism of it.
Based on what?
It was good, but he expected more from it. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing.
With those two, the expectations are extremely high. I agree with you.
Through the roof. And it was a really, really, really good match. I don't know if it'll be match of the year. I don't even know if it'll be, it might be getting mentioned. But it was not, it definitely was like, oh, okay. It was fine. It was really good.
It wasn't a 6.75 star
No.
Omega versus Okada.
No.
Right.
Again, these guys should have been able to put on a 6-star match. This was like 4.5. Which is really good. That's a really good match.
But it's disappointing because you expect more from those guys, and I think that's Meltzer's point.
Yeah. Right, and that's what he got.
You won't find me often defending him, but I mean, at the same time, it's like we all had expectations here because of Kenny the Belt Collector.
People who are mad at Meltzer are going to find a reason to be mad at him.
Of course.
But I feel he got taken out of context there. You know, he was just saying like these guys can do better.
Yeah.
And I frankly, after watching it, I agree with him. And a lot of the extra shenanigans is part of why with this match. Like I wanted to see like a clean, the two of them go at each other match, and it was not that. They had corner men right before the match. Conan went to Andrade and said, hey, maybe we can work out a deal. Andrade said no. So Conan went to Kenny Omega and was his corner man for the match. Guess who Andrade's was?
Woo!
Ric Flair. Ric Flair, and he got involved. He got some physicality in the match too. He got involved and punched out Conan and got into it, but also figured into the finish, which saw Kenny Omega using the confusion to throw a low blow and a one-winged angel onto Andrade to retain his title. So possibly more later. There has been this whole kind of like roiling scuttlebutt about why Kenny retained if AEW asked AAA to, like, AAA wanted to have Andrade win it, and then AEW like asked for a favor, and then we're hearing that like maybe not, like AEW was cool either way, but AAA was like, no, it makes more sense to have Kenny retain it for longer. So it's still kind of up in the air. We're hearing both things, but either way,
I would have thought that they would have liked to have had a Latino superstar with the championship on AEW. Like that would, if I were the promoter, if I were the booker, I'd have been like, yeah, do that. But I understand that, like, if AEW didn't really care, I totally would have flipped it to Andrade. With outside of storyline of what's going on with Kenny the Belt Collector, like, I totally would have flipped it over to Andrade just to have the story to be able to tell and to build around that title, like they did, for example, with the NWA Women's Championship. Look at how many matches we got out of that. And we had a tournament around it, all kinds of stuff, right? I totally would have had Andrade take it here. You could have had, dream matches. Him and Penta, him and Phoenix. Chavo can get back in the ring.
Maybe there's more story to tell, but before that happens.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe Andrade rubbed people the wrong way. I don't know.
We'll see.
We will see going forward. But at the same time, entertaining show, worth a look. I didn't mention a lot of the other matches, which were all very entertaining as well to different degrees. But we did post it in our Facebook discussion group. If you want to watch Triple Mania, it is free on Twitch. You can just watch it streamed over there. That link should be over in our Busted Wide Open Facebook discussion groups. You can check it out right over there and check out all these matches. Yeah. But Nick, I think we've done our business. We've done our show. That means there's only one thing left to do, a little segment we like to call our moment of positivity. Mop, the moment of positivity. That's right. It's the time on the show where we think back over everything that happened over the last few days of wrestling, and we try to come up with something that made us really happy, that we're really positive about, that we're really up on, that we want to spread out that love and that positivity to all of you so that you guys can go back out into the world after listening to our show with a smile on your face and some warmth in your hearts. So, Nick, what was your moment of positivity for this week?
Well, it certainly isn't Raw from last night.
Lord. Well, what else could it be? They didn't see anything else.
I think my moment of positivity this week is it sounds like New Japan Resurgence mule kicked the Forbidden Door wide open this weekend with Tanahashi winning the United States Championship and the invitation to AEW. We've got Gorillas of Destiny mixing it up with the Good Brothers. We've got potential Bullet Club feud happening here that's going to cross over to Dynamite in a big way, much like we've seen Kenny and much like we've seen the Elite going back and forth to Impact. Now we could see the Gorillas of Destiny coming over and firing that back up. The question is, does the rest of Bullet Club get involved? Where's Evil and Kenta?
Well, there's kind of
Jay
Bullet Club's
White
kind of splintered. splintered right now.
But
Chris
Bay
they've
coming
got a
over
little-
from Impact, he's Bullet Club now.
Hey, a lot of this might go down on Impact. I wouldn't be surprised if Guerrilla's Destiny showed up on Impact in the next week or two.
Oh, that's my moment of positivity. Is that the Forbidden Door has been kicked open officially. Thank you, Kenny Omega. Thank you, Young Bucks. Thank you, Tony Khan and AEW for facilitating something that we have all dreamed about for many, many years and is now actually coming to fruition after it's been lightly teased and seasoned over the last few months of this year. It's on. It's for real on that we have kicked open the Forbidden Door. That is there cannot be another moment of positivity for me this week. How about you, Surrey and Dangerous? What was your moment of positivity?
Well, thanks for taking my resurgence one. No, it's honestly, I could literally find like 8 or 9 from resurgence alone, like just the cool moments, but I'm not going to because I think it's just too easy. And you just use resurgence because all of resurgence was my moment of positivity.
The door getting kicked open was mine. I didn't even use the pay-per-view.
Mine is Riddle's face.
Okay.
That dude had nearly constant expressions that made me chortle and or giggle.
Okay.
It was constant. Every time he just would like hit a facial expression, whether it was consternation or excitement or puppy dog eyes or anything else, I would just be sitting there going like Scooby-Doo. It just cracking me up.
What was the old
constantly.
The old dog, the cartoon? I can't remember the name of it, where he would sit there.
Yeah, was that Rocky and Bullwinkle?
I don't remember.
I'm doing a Carl Anderson laugh now. He does that all the time. Anyway, the bottom line is Matt Riddle's cracking me up.
All right.
He's cracking me up. He's killing this character work. He's one of the things that makes the whole angle work. He's the reason the whole thing's working. Is because of him.
Wait, it's not the Duck Hunt laughing dog, is it?
No, but it looks very similar.
It was Muttley.
F that dog. Muttley.
Yes. What was that
Muttley.
on?
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Was it Rocky and Bullwinkle? Okay.
I think so.
Muttley is
he was like.
Let me see.
You had the Russian spies and Muttley
He is
was
the
their
foil
dog.
to the cartoon villain Dick Dastardly, and appeared in the 1968 television series Wacky Races, and its 1969 spinoff Dastardly and Muttley and Their Flying Machines.
Well, all right.
Yep, there you go.
Was it also Hanna-Barbera?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that explains why I thought it's Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh.
Anyway, there you go. But that's it. That's our moment of positivity, and that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this show.
Yet.
But don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere yet because we have a whole other show to do right after this. It's our mailbag. That's right. If you gave us a question, then we will answer your question next. If you didn't ask a question, why didn't you? You can head over to patreon.com/BWO or to YouTube or just go to linktree.com/BWO for all of our links. And you too can sign up for one of our reward tiers, the very bottom of which is the ability to ask a question on this next show, the mailbag show, and have us answer it live.
Yes.
You can ask us anything. Like obviously it's a wrestling show, so typically wrestling questions, but you can ask us anything. And it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with that show. If you want to hear us answer those questions, stick around. We're going to do that in about, what do you say, Nick? About quarter till?
Let's go 10 till. So by the time we get out of here, give everybody a break. 10 till. We'll be back. We're just going to put some music, the fun synthwave music up. You guys hang out, take a bio break, grab it, refresh the drink, all that good stuff. We'll be back at 10 till with the AMA BWO mailbag show. But until then, as you said, Surrey and Dangerous, linktree.com/BWO. Sign up for everything. Patrons, if you're not a patron yet, get in there. Get signed up for that $5 tier.
This weekend.
It's coming this weekend, and you won't want to miss out. I promise you.
Nope.
Got prizes and stuff and things. All kinds of stuff getting out. And Dubstep Rob's Grand BWO Patron Pick'ems Championship will be on the line.
The belt. The physical belt is on the line. Oh, man.
It's rare because they don't schedule takeovers and big fours like this like they used to. So having two of them back-to-back is nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
Madhouse.
But until then, folks, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I'm Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God!
But somebody stop the damn match!
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.